Welcome to Old Coins News, where every coin tells its own story. Today, we will explore the United States Kennedy half dollar, a coin famous for its design and rich history. The United States of America half dollar dated 1981 with a D mint mark is part of the famous Kennedy half dollar series, one of the most historically emotional and symbolically rich coin series in U.S. numismatic history. This coin proudly carries the national mottos Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, which together reflect the foundational ideals of the United States: freedom, faith, and unity. Although the 1981 D half dollar is not made of silver and is generally classified as a modern circulation issue, it still holds deep historical importance and growing collector interest, especially because 1981 was one of the last years half dollars were widely struck for circulation before they virtually disappeared from everyday use. The obverse, front side, of the 1981 D half dollar features a left-facing portrait of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, whose life and presidency were tragically cut short by assassination on November 22, 1963. The Kennedy half dollar was first issued in 1964, only months after his death, as a tribute to his legacy and as a symbol of hope, progress, and national unity. On the 1981 D coin, the word Liberty arcs boldly across the top rim, representing the enduring American ideal of freedom. Just to the left of Kennedy's neck appears a national motto, In God We Trust, reaffirming the country's spiritual foundation. The date 1981 is positioned at the bottom, while the D mint mark, indicating the Denver Mint, is located just above the date, identifying where the coin was produced. The portrait of Kennedy on this coin is known for its strong, dignified appearance. His hair is finely detailed, his expression calm yet determined, symbolizing leadership and vision. The design was created by Gilroy Roberts, chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, and remains one of the most recognizable presidential portraits ever placed on American coinage. Even in base metal versions like the 1981 D, the artistry of the design continues to impress collectors and historians alike. Turning to the reverse, backside, of the coin, we find a powerful and majestic image of the presidential seal, adapted for coinage by engraver Frank Gasparro. At the center stands a heraldic bald eagle, America's national bird, holding an olive branch in one talon, symbolizing peace, and arrows in the other, representing strength and readiness to defend freedom. Above the eagle's head is a radiant burst of stars enclosed within a ring of clouds, suggesting divine guidance and the unity of the states. Encircling the design is a Latin motto, E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, a direct reference to the union of states forming one nation. Along the upper rim is the inscription United States of America, while the denomination half dollar appears clearly at the bottom. From a technical and material perspective, the 1981 D Kennedy half dollar is composed of a copper-nickel-clad structure consisting of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition replaced silver beginning in 1971, marking a shift in U.S. coinage policy due to rising silver prices. The coin has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, a weight of 11.34 grams, and a reeded edge, giving it a substantial and solid feel in the hand. Despite lacking precious metal content, the size and design of the half dollar still give it an impressive presence compared to smaller denominations. The Denver Mint, where the 1981 D half dollar was produced, played a crucial role in supplying coinage for circulation during this period. In 1981, over 20 million Kennedy half dollars were struck at Denver. However, despite this relatively high mintage, the public had already begun hoarding half dollars, and banks rarely distributed them. As a result, many Americans rarely encountered these coins in everyday transactions, which is why they feel rare today even though they were produced in large numbers. Historically, the year 1981 is significant because it falls at the end of an era for circulating half dollars. After 1981, the U.S. Mint largely stopped producing half dollars for general circulation, instead striking them mainly for collectors. This makes the 1981 D one of the last commonly dated circulation issues, adding to its importance in modern U.S. coin history. For collectors, it represents a closing chapter of the half dollar as a practical everyday coin. In terms of collector value, the 1981 D Kennedy half dollar is generally worth face value 50 cents in worn or circulated condition. However, Coins in uncirculated condition, mint state, can command higher prices, especially if they show strong luster, sharp details, and no major contact marks. High-grade examples certified by grading services such as PCGS or NGC may sell for several dollars or more. Coins struck especially well, with clean surfaces and attractive appeal, are increasingly sought after by collectors assembling complete Kennedy half-dollar dated mint sets. The 1981 D half-dollar may not be rare or silver, but its value lies in its story, its symbolism, and its place in American monetary history. It connects the legacy of President Kennedy with a broader evolution of U.S. coinage and reflects a time when large-sized coins were slowly fading from everyday life. For new collectors, it is an affordable and meaningful entry point into numismatics. For experienced collectors, it represents an essential piece of a historically significant series. In conclusion, the United States of America 1981 D Kennedy half-dollar, bearing the proud inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, stands as a reminder that even modern coins can carry deep historical weight. It is not just a 50-cent piece, it is a symbol of remembrance, unity, and the changing nature of money itself. For channels like Old Coins News, this coin offers a powerful story that resonates far beyond its modest face value. The United States of America half-dollar dated 1992 with the P mint mark belongs to the long-running and historically powerful Kennedy half-dollar series, a coin series that reflect American ideals, political memory, and the gradual evolution of modern U.S. coinage. This half-dollar proudly carries the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, which together summarize the philosophical foundation of the United States: freedom, faith, and unity. Although the 1992 P half-dollar was struck in the modern copper-nickel clad composition and was not widely used in everyday commerce, it remains an important coin because it represents the transformation of the half-dollar from a circulating denomination into a collector-focused issue. The obverse front of the 1992 P half-dollar displays the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, whose legacy continues to shape American history. The word liberty curves prominently along the upper rim of the coin, symbolizing the core American value of personal and national freedom. To the left of Kennedy's portrait appears the motto, In God We Trust, affirming the spiritual and moral principles traditionally associated with the nation. The date 1992 is placed clearly at the bottom, while the P mint mark, identifying the Philadelphia Mint, appears just above the date. By 1992, the Philadelphia Mint was again using the P mint mark on most coins, making this half-dollar easy to identify for collectors. The portrait of Kennedy on this coin remains one of the most recognizable images in U.S. numismatics. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, the bust captures Kennedy with a calm, confident expression, reflecting leadership, optimism, and resilience. The sharp lines of his hair, the smooth contours of the face, and the dignified profile continue to stand out even on base metal examples like the 1992 P. This design was chosen shortly after Kennedy's assassination in 1963 and has remained unchanged on the half-dollar ever since, making it a lasting tribute to a president who symbolized a new generation of American leadership. The reverse back of the 1992 P half-dollar features a detailed adaptation of the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparro, the former chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the center is a heraldic bald eagle, America's national emblem, with wings spread wide in a commanding posture. In one talon, the eagle clutches an olive branch, representing peace, while in the other it holds arrows, symbolizing strength and military readiness. Above the eagle's head is a ring of stars set within clouds, signifying unity, destiny, and the guiding ideals of the nation. Encircling the design is a Latin motto, E Pluribus Unum, meaning out of many, one, emphasizing the union of states into a single republic. The inscriptions United States of America and half-dollar frame the design, clearly stating the coin's origin and denomination. From a technical standpoint, the 1992 P Kennedy half-dollar is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a solid copper core. This composition was standard for circulating half-dollars beginning in 1971, after the removal of silver from regular issues due to rising bullion prices. The coin has a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, a weight of 11.34 grams, and a reeded edge, giving it a substantial feel that distinguishes it from smaller U.S. denominations such as a quarter or dime. Despite lacking precious metal content, the size and design of the half dollar continue to convey a sense of importance and dignity. The Philadelphia Mint, where the 1992p half dollar was produced, is the oldest mint facility in the United States and has played a central role in American coinage since 1792. By the early 1990s, half dollars were no longer commonly used in everyday transactions, and most were struck specifically for collectors, storage, or limited distribution through banks. As a result, many 1992p half dollars never circulated heavily and remain in relatively good condition today, often found in mint sets or original bank wrap rolls. Historically, the year 1992 represents a mature phase of the Kennedy half dollar series. Nearly 3 decades had passed since the coin's introduction, and the emotional connection to Kennedy's assassination had transitioned into a broader sense of historical remembrance. At the same time, the half dollar itself was becoming more symbolic than practical, marking a shift in how Americans interacted with their currency. Coins like the 1992p half dollar reflect this transition, standing at the intersection of circulation coinage and modern numismatic collecting. In terms of collector value, the 1992p Kennedy half dollar is generally worth face value, 50 cents, in circulated condition. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong mint luster and minimal surface marks, can be worth more to collectors. Coins graded mint state, MS65 or higher, by professional grading services may command several dollars, particularly if they exhibit exceptional eye appeal. Additionally, collectors often seek this coin to complete date and mint sets of Kennedy half dollars from the clad era. Beyond monetary value, the 1992p half dollar holds significance as a historical artifact. It represents the endurance of classic American coin designs in the modern age, the lasting legacy of President Kennedy, and the evolution of U.S. coinage policy in the late 20th century. For new collectors, it offers an affordable entry into a famous series, while for seasoned numismatists, it serves as a reminder that even common modern coins carry stories of national identity and change. In conclusion, the United States of America 1992p Kennedy half dollar, bearing the timeless inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, is far more than a simple 50-cent piece. It is a symbol of American unity, remembrance, and continuity. Though often overlooked in daily life, this coin quietly preserves history in metal form, making it a meaningful subject for collectors, historians, and viewers of channels like Old Coins News who appreciate the deeper stories behind everyday currency. The United States of America half dollar dated 1996 with a P mint mark is part of the enduring Kennedy half dollar series, a series that has become one of the most recognizable and symbolically powerful coin designs in modern American history. This coin proudly bears the national inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, words that collectively express the philosophical foundation of the United States, freedom for the people, trust in divine guidance, and unity among many states. By 1996, the half dollar had largely disappeared from everyday commerce, making this coin more of a numismatic and commemorative object than a commonly spent piece of currency. Nevertheless, the 1996p half dollar remains an important representation of late 20th century U.S. coinage. The obverse front side of the 1996p Kennedy half dollar features the instantly recognizable portrait of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States. The word Liberty curves boldly along the top rim of the coin, serving as a reminder of the core value upon which the nation was founded. To the left of Kennedy's profile appears the motto, In God We Trust, a phrase officially adopted on U.S. coins as an expression of national faith and moral grounding. The date 1996 is placed at the bottom of the design, while the P mint mark, identifying the Philadelphia Mint, appears just above the date. By the 1990s, the P mint mark had become standard on Philadelphia minted coins, helping collectors easily identify the coin's origin. The Kennedy portrait, designed by Gilroy Roberts, remains unchanged from its original 1964 introduction, a testament to the strength and timeless appeal of the design. Kennedy is shown in a dignified left-facing profile, with finely sculpted hair and a calm, confident expression. His image symbolizes youth, leadership, and optimism, qualities that defined his presidency and continue to resonate decades after his death. Even on modern clad issues like the 1996p, the portrait retains strong visual impact, especially on well-preserved uncirculated examples. The reverse backside of the 1996p half dollar displays a powerful adaptation of the presidential seal created by Frank Gasparro, the former chief engraver of the United States Mint. At the center stands a heraldic bald eagle, wings fully spread in a commanding stance that symbolizes national strength and vigilance. The eagle holds an olive branch in one talon, representing peace, and a bundle of arrows in the other, symbolizing military readiness and the ability to defend freedom. Above the eagle's head is a constellation of stars within a circle of clouds, reflecting unity, destiny, and the guiding principles of the nation. Surrounding the design is a Latin motto E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, emphasizing the unification of individual states into a single republic. The inscriptions United States of America and half dollar clearly define the issuing country and denomination. From a technical and physical perspective, the 1996p Kennedy half dollar is composed of a copper-nickel-clad structure consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition has been standard for circulating half dollars since 1971, following the removal of silver from regular issues due to economic pressures. The coin measures 30.6 millimeters in diameter, weighs 11.34 grams, and features a reeded edge, giving it a substantial, solid feel in the hand. Although it does not contain precious metal, its size and detailed design continue to give it a sense of importance compared to smaller denominations. The Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic minting facilities in the world, produced a 1996p half dollar during a time when half dollars were struck primarily for collector sets and limited distribution rather than for widespread circulation. Most Americans in the 1990s rarely encountered half dollars in daily transactions, as vending machines, cash registers, and consumer habits had largely shifted away from this denomination. As a result, many 1996p half dollars were saved in mint sets or stored in bank rolls, which is why high-quality examples remain relatively easy to find today. Historically, 1996 was a significant year in American culture and history, marking the approach of the new millennium and a period of economic growth and technological change in the United States. While the half dollar itself did not undergo a design change that year, coins like the 1996p Kennedy half dollar serve as quiet witnesses to this era. They reflect a time when traditional coin designs continued unchanged even as a nation moved rapidly toward a digital and electronic financial future. In terms of collector value, the 1996p Kennedy half dollar is generally worth face value, 50 cents, in circulated condition. However, uncirculated examples, especially those with strong luster, clean fields, and sharp details, are more desirable to collectors. Coins graded mint state, MS65 or higher, by professional grading services can sell for several dollars, particularly if they exhibit above-average eye appeal. The coin is also an essential part of any complete Kennedy half-dollar collection covering the clad era. Beyond its market value, the 1996p half-dollar holds lasting significance as a symbolic and historical artifact. It represents the enduring legacy of President Kennedy, the continuity of American national symbols, and a gradual shift of the half dollar from everyday money to a collector-focused denomination. For new collectors, it offers an affordable and historically rich entry into U.S. numismatics. For seasoned collectors and history enthusiasts, it stands as a reminder that even modern coins carry stories of national identity, memory, and change. In conclusion, the United States of America 1996p Kennedy half dollar, bearing the timeless inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, is far more than a simple 50-cent coin. It is a piece of living history that bridges the past and the modern era, preserving the image of a beloved president and the ideals of a nation in metal form. For educational platforms and channels like Old Coins News, this coin provides a rich narrative that continues to inform and inspire collectors around the world.